Welcome into another installment of the H&H Podcast. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and are gearing up for a very, very happy new year. Lake, I guess before we start talking sports, everything going good with you? You good?
I'm doing pretty good. I haven't done a ton. I went to a funeral over the weekend for Yvette Haskins, Coach Clem Haskins' wife. Mm-hmm. So I went down to Kentucky, was luckily able to just beat the storm. Like, we flew through the storm and were able to land early that morning. But all in all, I haven't done a whole heck of a lot, but I got the whole week off. I'm going to go over to Grand Casino and Mariucci for the World Junior Hockey Championship, so I'm looking forward to that.
See, I was down in Disney World.
Yeah.
Went to Disney World last Monday after the Vikings game in New York.
How did the kid like it?
He loved it. He loved it. He was crashed out by I would say we got to the parks the first day at like 11. He was done for by about 5 o'clock. Then the second day we got there at 9:30, and he was done for by like 2 o'clock. But we woke him up. He had a good time. He was the only nephew, only grandchild on the trip with us, so he got any and everything he asked for at the park.
Oh, he was spoiled.
Beautiful weather, 78 degrees every day. Nonetheless, we got back here, and it was, the sun was like, Dad, the snow is melting. Why is the snow melting? And I was like, oh, don't worry. Like, it'll be back.
You beat the storm.
We beat the storm on the way back. And then 2 days after we got back, here we are, snowstorm, blizzard, etc. Minnesota winter.
Yeah.
That's just what you
It is
expect.
what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And speaking of delays and things like that, the Timberwolves had a short flight over to Chicago. What was supposed to be a short flight, that's only like an hour, 10 minutes, something like that. Ended up being on the airplane for almost 5 to 6 hours yesterday because they had some troubles and whatnot. Anthony Edwards said they took out their frustrations on the Chicago Bulls yesterday. They won handily, 136-101. Another dominant performance from Anthony Edwards. The team now 21-12 on the season, and I think 6th in the Western Conference. So still hovering in that same area that they were to begin the year.
Yeah, I'll continue to say what I've been saying. This team's not playing well, in my opinion. I know that they got the job done and they beat Chicago, blew out Chicago last night. It was darn near 30
They beat the Thunder
points.
after we talked last time.
They've had a couple of good wins since we last chatted. But the Minnesota Timberwolves against teams that are 500 or better, I believe their record is 5-9. That's not good. 5-9. I've been saying this, and people just don't want to pay attention to what I've been saying, which I don't understand why you wouldn't pay attention to what I'm telling you. The bottom line is this: they're beating up on bad teams.
As they should, though, right?
They're beating up on bad teams. Yeah, they should, but that's not the indicator of whether you are a good team. The indicator of you being a good team is being lumped in with the other good teams and beating other good teams.
They play
5-9 is not, to me, a record of a good team.
They play some good teams, and
they beat OKC.
Yeah,
and then name me all the good teams they beaten.
Okay,
they beaten OKC.
Beat them by 5.
They beat
They almost beat the Nuggets, one of the top teams.
Almost ain't beating them. I'm pretty sure they beat Golden State.
They beat the Spurs.
Okay, they beat the Spurs without
They
Wemby.
did beat Golden State.
Yep. They beat the Spurs without Wemby. They face Wemby and the Spurs next weekend. So all I'm saying is that, a sign of a really good team is a couple of different things. Mm-hmm. Consistency.
Yeah.
Which they haven't been consistent at beating good teams because they're 5-9 against good teams.
Nuggets 3 times.
But at least they're consistently beating bad teams.
Yeah, when you talk about good
Hold on, didn't they just lose against the Nets?
They did.
I'm at Coach Haskins' crib, and I'm like watching the game on my phone. I'm like, what's going on here? The Nets.
That was tough. That was a tough one. So you're right. Against teams that are in front of them in the standings right now. Lost to the Lakers twice. Lost to the Nuggets. Lost to the Nuggets 3 times. The Nuggets 3 times. They beat the Spurs. Lost to the Thunder once.
And you're losing to the Nuggets without their third best player in Aaron Gordon.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but on the way in here, Nikola Jokic has a hyperextended knee. He got hurt
saw that last night.
So he's going to miss a couple of weeks now.
It's a couple of weeks. Okay, I didn't see how lengthy.
So it's not season ending or anything like that. He will miss a couple of weeks. But
so we're going to get a fresh Joker in the playoffs. Seriously.
Probably. Or fresh Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Timberwolves are who they are right now. I
Yeah.
think we've said the same thing every time we talk Timberwolves. They're going to have to make a trade. They're one piece away. They cannot get over that hump in the Western Conference Finals without going out and going to acquire someone new. Who that player will be, we just don't know yet. But the good thing is for this basketball team, Anthony Edwards is playing the way he should be playing as a superstar. That's what you want to see. Now you just need that consistency around him, which is something that they've lacked this year in games versus good teams, something I still think they have a ton of time to figure out.
And shout out to Nas Reed because Nas Reed was unbelievable last night. Like, he was a monster. He had a season-high 33 points.
That's good for
he
him.
was off the charts. And I think that, like, you can tell the difference with this team when Bones Highland is productive.
He should be playing more.
And, well, he's had a couple of games where
He doesn't play where he should.
he was a little bit shaky, but
Yeah.
all in all, he's been a positive.
He's been he's been an energy boost, I feel like, for this team. Every time that I watched him this year, whether Bones is not playing or playing, he provides that energy on the bench, on the court, whatever you need. And then when he does play, and like you said, when he plays well, this is a totally different team, I feel like, when he's playing well.
Yeah.
But can you get that same consistency and productivity out of him all season long?
And Rob has not been getting any tick lately. So, I mean, they got to
We talked about that
We
a
gotta
lot
figure-
before the season. I just think he's a liability defensively. As good as he can be offensively, I still think he takes too many dribbles to get to his spots. Like, he's just very ball dominant. And you can't be ball dominant versus Anthony Edwards. I mean, not versus, but on the same team as Anthony Edwards. So
Yeah.
I think that's a problem they'll have to figure out. But, they got plenty of time. There's still a lot of time left, a lot of games left. And the WNBA and the NBA season. So up next, they take on the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow, 2 p.m. tip. So another bad team. Trae Young is being rumored to be on the trade wire. Who knows what the Timberwolves? They don't have enough money to pay him, but
Yeah, they
having him alongside of Anthony Edwards would be really nice. Then they followed that up a couple days later. Got the Miami Heat, played them like 2 times in a week and a half. So that'll be a nice test for this Timberwolves team that's trying to find their footing ahead of All-Star break.
It's about to get, like, you're about to get into the crux of a stretch against really good teams because you've got essentially a back-to-back where you, on the 8th, you're facing the Cleveland Cavaliers at home.
Yep.
Then you fly to Cleveland on the 10th.
Yep.
And then right after that, I think, is the Wemby game, right?
You got them on the 11th, yeah.
Yeah.
Back
So
here in Minnesota.
it's about to get real, is my point.
And then you got the Spurs on the 11th. You got the Bucks on the 13th.
It's about to get real.
The Rockets on the 16th. And the
That
Spurs
week-
on the 17th.
That week, that's the roughest week of the season.
From the 8th through the 17th, they play the Cavaliers, the Spurs twice.
Yep.
And the Rockets and Bucks once.
Yeah.
You're going to find out a lot about this team.
Yep.
Speaking about finding out a lot about teams, we found out a lot about the Vikings defense this past week, taking on the Detroit Lions on Christmas Day. 6 takeaways versus Jared Goff and a team that absolutely had to win to go to the playoffs. And the Vikings said, not on my watch. Now, I said it on this podcast a couple of weeks ago. The Vikings told me once they found out they got eliminated, they like, look, we can't go to the playoffs. No one else can in our path. Like, if you want to go to the playoffs and you're on the bubble, we about to make it hard for you. When they said that, at first I was like, little bulletin board material. But they've been backing it up.
Brian Flores is a genius. And if he is not a head coach this year coming up, then I don't know when he become a head coach. I'm dead serious. I think that the only thing that would preclude him from being a head coach this season will be the lawsuit still out there. But in terms of timing, like,
come on now.
I mean, if you don't hire him now, when would you ever hire him?
They're not going to hire him, and that's known. Let me provide some context. That's no shade towards Brian Flores. That is absolutely directed at the NFL.
It's an indictment on the NFL.
And the collusion that they have
Yep.
from their owners. People won't agree to it. Maybe one side will, another side won't. There is collusion at its finest when it comes to the NFL, and these owners stick together. Like, you just look, one player we could talk about, Colin Kaepernick. Like, this is a guy who came out, said he wanted to play for X amount of years, and no team would give him a chance. And you saw countless quarterbacks go out there, and people could say, well, he wasn't good. He wasn't this. He was a lot better than some of the other quarterbacks that have jobs in the NFL right now, or a lot of the guys that got signed. Hell, Phillip Rivers got signed. He was 5 years retired. Like, you know what I'm saying? They go out there, didn't have any velo in his football, and went out and lost every game that he played for the Colts this year. So
it didn't always used to be this way. It got this way when it got corporate.
Yeah.
When all the big corporate guys with all the billionaires with all the money, when they started buying into the league.
Yep.
But, like, if this was the NFL from, like, 30 years ago, Al Davis would be like, nah, that dude's good.
yeah, but it ain't 30 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
And so I just don't see mad respect to B-Flow and what he's been able to do with this defense
For sure.
since he came in here and took over for Ed Donatel. But my thing is, you are actively like suing the NFL and alleging them for systemic racial discrimination when it comes to hiring black coaches
standing on business
and the way they're treated. You got to do that. You can't fold. You can't settle right now. But even if you do settle, you ain't getting no head coaching job. Settling is pretty much an admission of guilt for the owners, like, and things like that. So you can't come out here and allege that they're racist and don't hire black coaches, don't give black coaches the benefit of the doubt, and then you gonna have another owner be like, "Oh yeah, we gonna hire you." Like, nah, it don't work like that. So,
yeah, but if you're the NFL, wouldn't that put a stop to the conversation that he's unhireable if he's rehired? You put an end to that conversation, that narrative, and you're getting a good head coach.
but what owner is willing to take that chance?
I'm just saying.
Because think about it. All right, the owner takes a chance and he says, "You know what? This is my guy. I know what he can do for my franchise. He's gonna turn it around defensively. We're gonna play good football." Now, how do the other 31 owners treat that one owner that went out there on the cliff and said, "I'm gonna do my own thing"? It won't bode well for that one owner.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess my comeback to that would be, you're right, 100%. But if I'm Arthur Blanks and I'm a multi-billionaire, why would I care what y'all talking about?
I mean, that's a very valid point.
I'm just saying.
But I also think that you can't get a lot done in the NFL without the likes of a Jerry Jones, Stan Kroenke, like those billionaire owners that like have a lot of say. Robert Kraft's in the world. So like, yeah, you could be like an Arthur Blank and be like, I don't care what you say. Like, I got my own money.
Yeah.
But you still need some help to get things passed when it comes to the NFL.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I think that one of the things that we have to do, or they would have to do, because it's a group of white men, is I think that, and they do this in other parts of their business, they stand on, or they know how much power that they have. Mm-hmm. If I was an Arthur Blank or whoever it is, and I said, no, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and if there's going to be any backlash towards me, I'm going to understand the power that I have as an owner too. Yeah. I know that Jerry Jones is a big figure, a big face in terms of ownership, and Robert Kraft and all of that stuff, whatever. But I just wouldn't lay down and just accept that, oh, I can't do it. Nah, I'm a grown man that's a multi-billionaire with businesses, and you're not going to just push me around.
My thing with that is the judges agreed to let this go to trial.
Yeah.
No way you can have him as a head coach and on trial for this. Because what if he comes out and wins?
I'm just saying.
I'm rooting for a B-Flow.
If I'm one of them billionaires and I got Robert Kraft sniffing around talking about, you wrong for, I'm be like, hey, you wrong for them videos. Let's talk about the massages. Let me get them tapes.
And they running players out the league for that.
Yeah.
Justin Tucker can't get a job for that.
Let me get my hands on them tapes.
Deshaun Watson has been pretty much, I won't say blackballed, but like no one really agrees with what he did.
He actually might be the starter in Cleveland next year.
Which is
crazy.
Crazy. But that being said, B-Flow, tremendous job that he's doing with his defense. Selfishly, we hope that he sticks around here in Minnesota. Yep. Because what he does for this defense, what he's able to do, put them in positions to win, pretty much kept his season alive, like when it was pretty much down in the dumps, thanks to the quarterback play. He, I won't say single-handedly, but those 11 to 16 guys that he trots out there defensively, they held this season together, and they gave the Vikings a chance to finish the year with a winning record. Now, that being said, J.J. McCarthy suffered yet another injury in his young NFL career. He's missed a ton of games. He started in 9 games, so he missed 17 this year. And out of 17 this year, he's missed possibly 7 or 8. So talk about his total body of work. That man's missing a lot of football 25 out of 34 games that he's missed so far. So he's going to need to get it together. But that being said, offensively, they kind of figured some things out, I felt like, with J.J. McCarthy before this most recent game where he got injured and he wasn't able to play against the Detroit Lions. I think we spoke before the New York Giants game. He did all right. I think 9 of 14 in the first half, 140 yards, that very unfortunate tip pass that resulted in a pick six and things like that. But I think that if healthy to play this week, he has to play. Because you got to know what you got in 9. Like, you got to know heading into this offseason. That being said, though, offensively, how far off do you think they are?
I don't think that we know even if he plays well this weekend or if he plays at all. Like, I just think the sample size is way too small. Whether he plays or not this weekend, there's going to be so many questions.
So what type of backup quarterback do you bring in the offseason then? Do you bring in a guy, I'm throwing out names, a guy like Mac Jones where like, all right, JJ goes down, this could be potentially our starter for the rest of the year? Mm-hmm. Or do you bring in like a Marcus Mariota type where it's like, all right, we know he's serviceable, he can go in and help us win games, but he's not our guy, and we don't really want him playing a long-term amount. So if you're Kevin O'Connell, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, what type of veteran quarterback are you targeting this offseason?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't believe that – I think that Mac Jones is a really good – I think he's a very good backup quarterback who could start for a month. I don't think that he's like the type of starter that you would want a guy start every single week.
He was a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, he was a top 10 pick.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't know.
No. He wasn't top 10. I think it might have been 15.
Yeah, he was a little later.
I think he was like top 15.
15th overall.
Yeah, 15th. Yep. And so, so when I look at Mac Jones, I mean, he's got some skills, but I don't think it'd be a good situation for the team just because even though I like Mac Jones as a backup, week 1, if JJ was to have a bad game, you're asking for Mac Jones. The fans are. The fans will be all over Mac Jones wanting him to go in there. So I think you would have to have somebody that's not a name necessarily or not a threat.
Free agent quarterbacks in 2026, Daniel Jones, coming off a fractured, torn Achilles, so yeah, he probably won't be serviceable option.
He'll end up
Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Tyrod Taylor, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Malik Willis, and Kenny Pickett.
Of all of those names, I'm gonna tell you the one that
I know where you're about to go.
Which one?
Malik Willis?
No. Veteran.
Zach Wilson. No, he's not a veteran. Russ?
Tyrod Taylor.
No, well, yeah.
As a backup, yeah. He's a guy that if what's name has a high ankle sprain and he needs 2 weeks off, he can come in there. He can win you a game.
And it's nobody that you're threatened with.
Yes.
That's going to take the job.
He's not somebody that the fans are going to be clamoring, oh, we got to put Tyrod in there. Nah, he just goes in and does his job.
I think that's the big thing for the Vikings this offseason. They have to bring in a veteran quarterback, but you don't want a veteran.
That's a threat.
So here was the thing. All right. Last year, they didn't want a quarterback that was a threat, it seemed like, either behind J.J. McCarthy, because then you put him in that spotlight where if he does bad, well, now he's not going to play. I do think competition is needed. It only heightens, what happens. Like, you think about J.J. McCarthy at Michigan. He had Cade McNamara that he was competing with. Competition brings out the best in players, and it challenges you to perform at your best at all times. But I also don't think that they want a quarterback that's having JJ look over his shoulder and being like, you know what, if I go down for 2 weeks, now do all the fans want that guy for the rest of the season, and then when I go back out there and I don't do good, then, it's like, all right, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I think the Vikings have to be very strategic with who they bring in at the quarterback room, but I think that they got to get the most out of JJ. Like, this was your plan. Draft a young quarterback, develop a young quarterback. I think that's what Kevin O'Connell has to do this offseason, is to truly develop this young quarterback, get that confidence back flowing through his veins, and just let him rip it next year. Because I think that you got a lot of other areas that you need to fill. Probably a cornerback, defensive line, cornerback position.
Just Hargrave and Allen, those guys are probably not back.
Yeah, well, Allen maybe more because his contract
of his money.
Hargrave probably gone.
Hargrave gone.
Yeah, Hargrave probably gone.
And I probably will move on from Allen too. I'm just saying.
You got to eat a little bit of money there.
Yeah.
Gotta eat. But especially with what they have and Jalen Redmond, I mean, he was. I told him in the locker room last year
monster.
after a couple of games. I said, "You're going to be a multimillionaire in the league soon." He said, "Word." I said, "I believe so." I was like, "You getting to it right now." And they traded away Harrison Phillips because they thought they had a lot. Honestly, this team probably would have been Levi Drake Rodriguez.
Yep.
Honestly, the team probably would have been better starting Levi and Jalen and keeping Harrison Phillips than they would have been going out and going to pay Hargrave and Allen. If we being 100% honest, you know what I'm saying. So definitely some positions to fill. I think Eric Wilson, he's going to have to come back, or they're going to have to extend him. Like, he's a starter, like, you know, for this team alongside Blake Cashman. They got something with that.
They got to get a corner.
They got to get a corner.
Like, I loved what Isaiah Rodgers gave this team this year. I want him back, but you have to add another.
He's on a 2-year deal, isn't he?
Is it 2 years? Okay. Because there was something, one of the broadcasts had kind of questioned. I thought it was a 2-year too, but then the broadcast team from a week or two ago kind of made me question.
2-year, $15 million deal.
Okay, yeah. So you need to add another corner. If you add another serviceable corner, because how many years left do we have of Murphy?
He just signed a 4-year extension.
Okay, so with those, but you still need 3 good corners.
Yeah, because Fabian Moreau, because basically Jeff Okudah was the guy that they brought in. He had concussion issues. We haven't seen him since week 7 or 8, something like that. And Fabian Moreau was a guy who was on the roster last year, didn't even attend training camp this year, and has been playing that third cornerback role for them. So I agree with you. I do think they need to upgrade that cornerback position. Do they do it via the draft, or do they do it via free agency? We'll have to see, because they spent a ton of money on this team.
And they got to add a running back.
Jeremiah Love is a guy from Notre Dame that everybody keeps putting on those mock drafts.
Yeah, but for some reason, I'm also hearing the rumblings of him to Kansas City, because Kansas City needs to really actually get a running game together.
They do.
And now
but Kansas City, you don't. Well,
they need a running back,
because they're gonna be in the middle of the pack. Yeah,
Kareem Hunt done.
Yeah,
Pacheco done. In terms of like his, I mean, you need a legit, and you're really gonna need a legit one that Pat can lean on.
Jeremiah Love is a beast.
He could be gone by the time it comes.
Cover him in high school in St. Louis at Christian Brothers Academy, and that he's a stud, man. And he had some knee injuries in high school though, so that's something to keep in mind. I'm sure we'll find out a lot about him when it comes to the combine workouts and the injury reports and things like that.
Hey, can we say shout out to the Golden Gophers? They won the bowl game, the Ray Bowl. Shout out, they got it done.
Did you watch the whole game?
No. I didn't watch the whole game.
I watched it.
I saw a little bit of the game.
I watched it.
The first part of the game.
Thing that frustrates me the most is, like, when they're down and need a score, Drake Lindsey is just, like, superb.
Yeah, he is.
For the rest of the game, though, it's so mediocre. And is that on Drake? Is that on Harbaugh? Or is that on Fleck? Like, but we got to figure it out. I'm so tired of seeing flashes and glimpses of what this offense can be in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter or in overtime when they need a touchdown. Why can't we get that for 60 minutes?
The other thing, too, is the defensive star,
Anthony Smith.
He announced he's coming back. That's awesome.
That's huge news for this defense.
Huge.
Huge news for this defense. You just hope that Coy Parrish can up his level of play, because he had a somewhat – in his eyes, he would probably tell you a down year this year with all the expectations, the hype that he has surrounding him coming off his freshman year. He needs to step it up next year. He said he's one of those guys that wants to go to school for 3 years and go to the NFL. Hey, you want to be a Tyler Nubin? You want to be what's the other safety I'm thinking about right now? Winfield. You want to be one of those guys? Like, you got to step up that level of play this year, especially if you want to get drafted in the first or second round this next year. So they did get a win. I think, what was that, like the 7th bowl win in a row for PJ Fleck or something like that?
7-0.
Yeah, he doesn't lose in bowl games. So
but
they don't play anybody in bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
I said that the other day. I said that on our all-day show. He's undefeated in bowl games. Outback Bowl is the only one I'm giving him when he beat Auburn. Other than that, you ain't beating nobody, man.
You ain't beating nobody.
Like, it's about, and this is what I said. Maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I said the Rate Bowl is just another name for a participation trophy. And I grew up my whole life being told that if you ain't first, it don't matter. And we don't care about participation trophies.
That's a bowl, though. You can say that about any bowl, though.
That's not a New Year's Six bowl or a college football playoff.
You can say about any bowl.
And that's my thing. Bowl games are becoming not meaningless now. But growing up, bowl games meant something to us. Like you saw your team go to a bowl, you like it's legit. Now it's like you just get there on 6 wins.
The Rose Bowl and the Cotton Bowl and all those bowls didn't mean nothing.
Absolutely, but these ain't Rose Bowls and Cotton Bowls. These are Rape Bowls, Pop-Tart Bowls, Duke's Mayo Bowls, like Pinstripe Bowls. Like, who cares about these bowl games?
We got the Snoop Dogg. He got a bowl game or something like that.
Ain't catching balls during the game. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's more entertainment now. I hate that they do, like, participation trophies. And, you know what? You had 6 wins, or you were 5-7 this year, but you had a good GPA and a bunch of teams didn't want to play, so now we're going to put you in a bowl game. Let's make meaningful bowl games matter again. All right? Let's eliminate, a year in the college football schedule. Let's expand the college football playoff. Have them play like the FCS. The FCS has a playoff bracket. It's worked every year.
Can we not have NBA drafted players or people that played a game or two go back to college? Can we not do that? That cannot be a thing. What are we doing? That's ridiculous.
You talking about the NBA?
That's the most embarrassing. I'm talking about the NCAA.
Basketball. Yeah. And
the young man that's going to Baylor, that was a first-round.
You got guys going from the G League that are now getting 4 years of eligibility at colleges. It's nuts.
Embarrassing.
They're handing out years.
Congress is going to have to step in here.
They're handing out eligibility now. Like, you went to a JUCO for 2 years? Oh, that doesn't count towards your eligibility. You still get 5 years. What are you talking about? This man now, or woman now gets 7 years to compete in college athletics? Like,
also, shout out to the Gopher women. They defeated Indiana last night on the road.
Beat them handily, 71-48. Maya Battle had 20 points, 8 rebounds.
Gopher men beat Farley Dickinson last night.
Mm-hmm.
So
the women, they are currently 10-3. Probably should be 11-2 because they had a home game versus a top 10 opponent in Maryland at the Barn. Their only loss this season at the Barn, and they had them up 8 points with 59 seconds to play. 9 points.
No, 8. You're right.
8 points.
You're right. 8 points because it was 98-90.
Yeah.
They ended up losing 99. Yep.
So they had an 8-point lead with 59 seconds to go and blew that. Coach said, I talked to Coach Plitzowhite this morning on the Go for Coaches show that airs later today, and she says that basically they learn from that. They learn how to play a complete game, when to slow things down offensively. I think this is going to be a dangerous team this year. Like, you talk about the depth of this team. They have 8 to 9 players that are logging like 7 or 8 more minutes per game, averaging 7 or more minutes per game. You got 3 players in double figures. Mara Braun is one of your leaders offensively, but she's been picking up the slack everywhere else. Mm-hmm. And so I think this is going to be a dangerous team. Nico Medved and the Gopher men's hoops team, they got a big win at the Barn as well. Yeah. And they're about to enter a very, very, I won't say dangerous stretch for them, but conference play is tough.
He doesn't have the talent right now. Like let's just keep it real. Yeah, he doesn't have that right now. They're a work in progress. It's going to take some time, but they're going to battle. They're gonna go hard. I'll say this. K. Tyson's got to understand he can't get in foul trouble. I know it's a lot of pressure. Last night he got in foul trouble, sat on the bench a lot. In the Big Ten.
They need him on the court because he's a bucket. When he's on the court, he's a bucket. He's a guy that you want on the court as much as possible. Because where did he come from? He came from North Carolina, didn't he?
North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina. So it's like, obviously you can play basketball going to a school like that. So, but you look at Nico and what he's doing from schematic standpoint, they're on the right track. And I feel like this team in a couple of years will be good. It took Coach P. Obviously, she had some injuries. If she didn't have injuries, they probably would have been an NCAA tournament team last year in her second season. Now in her third year, pretty much looking to get over that hump.
And for the men, I just need to see a little bit more out of Isaac Asamoah because to me, I look at his game because his build and just his speed and his athleticism, we know that he can play. But I need to see him be a little bit more deliberate about getting shots up.
Yeah, I would say that too.
I don't think that he shoots enough.
A little too passive right now.
Yep.
I will say that. Watching the game, I'm like, look, you got a great first move, quick first step, get to the basket, and then stretch the court, knock down a triple. So
because they're going to have to lean into him a little bit.
Yeah, I'm there with you on that. So conference play coming up. For both of these teams, the women, they have Michigan, then they got Northwestern at home, USC, then UCLA. They got a gauntlet coming up for them. The men, we all know the Big Ten is the best conference for men's basketball. So
Michigan might be the best team in the country.
Yeah.
Michigan looks like we were talking about that when we were down in Kentucky with Coach Haskins. Like, Michigan looks like they could cut down the nets.
Yeah.
Like, and you're right, the Big Ten is just a monster, Michigan State. But, like, that Michigan team, I don't know if we've seen a Michigan team like this since the Fab Five.
It's going to be exciting to see. Produce it. They may have something to say about that as well. Produce a top 10 team. So, exciting year. Obviously, we'll keep tracking the Gophers men's and women's basketball teams as they try and vie to get back to the NCAA tournament. Meanwhile, the Wolves just trying to stay on pace right before the All-Star break, get Anthony Edwards and a couple of those guys to the All-Star game. And then the Vikings could finish the season with a 5-game winning streak and finish 9-8 and have a chance to finish better than the Detroit Lions. And who would have thought that before the season? Absolutely nobody. So a jam-packed week here on the H&H Podcast, and we'll have a lot to dissect next week at the end of the NFL regular season. And, of course, we'll talk a little playoffs, but we'll save that until after Week 18. So that'll wrap it up for this episode, and we'll, of course, see you all next week.
Happy New Year.